Hi again, Mark here from TalkingBass.net with the latest in my series of slap bass lessons. Now remember to check out all the other videos on the Talking Bass video channel and also visit TalkingBass.net where you'll find lots of lessons, articles and downloads. Okay, so now that we've had a look at muting, let's try adding a few more techniques into our slap lines. First of all, we'll have a look at some hammer-ons. Now if you've never played a hammer-on before, don't worry, it's really easy. First of all, let's try a hammer-on without any slapping. So the basic idea is to play a note like this D, and then play the next note we want to play like this E without picking it. So the fretting hand does all the work. So D, E, D, E. So you just pluck the first note and then just let your finger push down on the next one. D, E, D, E. Okay? We can hammer on any note to any other note. So here's an A to a B, or here's an open G string to a 12th fret G. If I play a note by just pressing down on the string with the fretting hand, it's a hammer on. Anywhere. You don't actually need to pluck any preceding note. You can just hammer on like this anywhere. But the hammer-ons we'll be looking at today are from another note that we've just slapped or popped. So let's try a slap and then a hammer-on. So we'll slap the D here on the A string at the 5th fret, and then hammer on the E at the 7th fret with the 4th finger. So we're hammering on the 1st finger to the 4th. So, okay. Now for a little variation, try hammering with the 3rd finger. So still the D to the A. Or 1st finger to the 4th finger, to the 3rd finger, to the 4th finger. Now let's try a hammer-on up here at the octave on the G string from the D at the 7th fret to the E at the 9th fret. But this time we'll try popping the D, so we have D to E. Again, we've got 1st finger to the 4th finger, 1st finger to the 3rd finger. Okay, so now let's try a slap riff using these hammer-ons. So the first riff is going to be as follows. Okay, so we're just using the A string hammer-on from the D to the E to begin with. So I'll take you through the riff one step at a time. So we've got the first bar is open E. Okay, and then a mute on the E. So then we've got the hammer on from the D to the E. So and then we're back down to the open E. Now these two open E's, the first one's quite short and the second one's a little longer. So use the hand here on the fret. Well, use the fretting hand to choke the note short. So. Notice how I'm using that motion there. Okay. So we've got another mute. To accent that 4th beat. And then an open E to bring me back round to the 2nd bar. And again, choke it to make it slightly short. So really slow. Now the 2nd bar is exactly the same as the 1st bar, but we've got a little pop there at the 2nd fret of the D string on octave E. Okay, so whole riff. Okay, so just a little bit quicker. Okay, now let's try incorporating that G string hammer on from the D to the E. So now the riff will sound like this. So this time the riff's pretty much identical, but instead of that little E pop down there, we've got this. So I'll take it slowly, but I won't spend as long as I did on the first example. So we've got the mute, so you can hammer on this to the third finger or the fourth finger, either way, but I'm using the third finger there, so. Now if we add a couple of ghost notes on the E string before we pop that D to the E, we'll get the following embellished line. Okay, so the move is, so slow, up to speed, now let's add two hammer-ons in a row, so we'll hammer on from the A to the B and then the D to the E again. Okay, so this is in place of the pop in the second bar. So here's the riff. Okay, so we've got, so we hit the A, hammer onto the B, hit the D, hammer onto the E. Okay, so slowly. Again, I'm using the first finger and the fourth finger for the hammer on. Okay? Now let's try a different riff and incorporate some of the ghost notes from the last lesson. If you have any problems, just check out the lesson using the link on screen or in the information below. Okay? So the riff goes like this. So let's have a look at the first bar slow. So we've got open E, two notes on that. And then we've got the C sharp up to the D. Okay, so the 4th fret to the 5th fret on the A string. So now I'm cutting that short on the E there, so we've got, I'm just laying the hand across to choke the note, and then the C sharp to the D. Now, the 4th beat, I'm going to play a muted slap just to emulate the snare drum feel. If this was over a drum beat, then we wouldn't need it so much, but I'm going to do it here just to give us that feel. Okay, so. So again, slow. Quicker. Now for this second bar, we've got virtually the same riff again, with the E, C sharp and the D, but then we're going to use two hammer-ons with two muted slaps in there. So we've got the A to the B hammer-on, then we've got slap, pop, both muted, and then D to E hammer-on. So the action for the hammer-ons with the ghost notes is, okay, A to B, and I'm using the first finger and the 4th finger. So really, really slow. And with this, instead of using an octave kind of, well, two strings like an A and a G string or an E and a D string, I'm using the E string and the G string, so the two outer strings for the muted ghost notes. So, okay, so that bar all together. A little quicker. A little quicker. Okay, so all together, both bars. Okay. Now let's try a 4-bar variation on that riff, and in the 4th bar we'll use the ghost note a little bit more extensively. So it's a little bit trickier, but here it is full speed. Okay. The first 3 bars of this riff uses the same material that we've used in the previous riffs. So we'll just look at this final bar. So instead of the C sharp to the D, we've got, okay, so we've got the 2 E's, then we've got the A to the B, then twice through the slap pop on the muted ghost notes, and then the D to the E again. And then 2 mutes again. So here it is all together. On the first 2 ghost notes, I'm using the E string and the G string, and then for the final one, I'm using the A string and the G string. So up to speed. So the whole riff. Now let's try a variation on that 4-bar riff. This time in the final bar, we'll use a G to a G sharp hammer on. So the whole riff. Okay, so we've got, so again, so we'll take that last bar slowly. So we've got, so we don't have the C sharp or the D again, so just as we did on the previous riff. And then A to B, the 2 mutes on the E string and G string. Then the D to the E, 2 mutes, and then the G to the G sharp, so the 5th fret and the 6th fret on the D string. Okay, so again, so we've got the 5th to the 7th fret on the E string, the 5th to the 7th fret on the A string, and then the 5th to the 6th fret on the D string, with 2 mutes between each. So if you isolate that little section, and I'll play it very slow. A little quicker. A little quicker. Okay, so here's the riff again. Now let's try one more variation on this riff by bringing a hammer-on from a pop into play. So the 4th bar is going to become, okay? So the whole riff will be as follows. So let's go over that 4th bar. So we've got, as per usual, the 2 open E's. Then we've got a mute on the E string. Then the pop from the D to the E there, 7th fret to the 9th fret. Then we've got 2 ghost notes, E string and G string. And then we've got the A to the B, hammer on. So we've got, and then we've got 2 ghost notes again, and then a G, which we just bend slightly to give it a kind of bluesy feel. So. So it's actually just a descent through these hammer-ons. Again, make sure that you get the PDF, download that. That's got the whole, that's got the sheet music and the tab for this riff. So I'll go round and round it slow. Slower. Full speed. So now here's that full riff. This use of hammer-ons and ghost notes can get closer to fills and soloing when we start playing riffs like this. So if you're interested in exploring these kind of concepts further, then take a look at the lesson devoted to slap fills. Next, let's take a quick look at slides. I'm including this technique in with the hammer-ons because they can kind of be used for the same effect. So I'm sure you probably know how to slide on your bass, but if not, it's simply a case of plucking or slapping or popping a note and then sliding your hand up or down the string while keeping the same pressure on, like this. So you can slide up or down, you can play big slides or small slides. Okay, so let's try a riff featuring a slide. A common lick using slapped slides involves the following move and rhythm. We slap and then slide into the octave slap pop pattern. So if we play a C on the A string, sliding into the D octave, we have the following pattern. C to the D and then pop. So slap, slide, then slap, pop. Okay, and that can be extended to create riffs like this. Okay, now let's add some mutes and further octave pops to create a riff. Now this riff is going to be really similar to one that we used in the ghost notes lesson previously. So we're going to start at the B flat, the first fret of the A string here, slap and then slide into the C, and then we've got the C octave. So slap, pop. So slap, B flat, slide into the C, slap and pop. Okay, then we've got two muted slap pops. So and then we've got the B flat back to the C. So very slow. Quicker. Little quicker. Full speed. And once again, you'll hear me hitting that muted slap on the fourth beat just to give it that snare drum feel. For the second bar, we've got virtually the same lick, but then we're going to slide up to the F and then two mutes, the slap pop mute. So the whole bar. Slow. So we've got the octave there at the F, and then the slap pop mute. So again, up to speed. So the whole riff. Okay. So I hope this lesson's helped a little bit with your slapping. Keep up to date with the lessons by subscribing to my YouTube channel. There's a whole load of lessons there to discover, and I release at least one a week, so go check that out. Also, check out TalkingBass.net for more articles, lessons, and downloadable content. And if you sign up to the newsletter, you can download a free scale reference guide, so go check that out. Okay, see you later.